The United Arab Emirates have signed a peace agreement with Israel. But the United Arab Emirates were never at war with Israel. Israel came into existence in 1948 and has been occupying and driving Palestinians off their land ever since. And the UAE came into existence in 1971. It is a Western petrol station in the Middle East with puppet leaders. And they've never done a thing for the Palestinians. They're so alert to any Israeli aggression in the region that they managed to allow Israeli operatives into their country, who then executed a Hamas leader in his hotel room a few years back. So they've never done anything to resist Israel. And this whole notion of a peace agreement being signed between the United Arab Emirates and Israel, it's just, well, it's a non-event. It doesn't mean anything. And it's part of this ploy to portray the conflict in the region as the Arab-Israeli conflict, as if it's plucky little Israel lined up against all these many Arab states that are about to descend upon it and drive them into the sea, where actually very few Arab states are actually doing anything to resist the Israeli occupation or Israeli aggression in the region. There are a few. Syria has never signed a peace agreement with Israel. Bashar al-Assad's Syria has never signed a peace agreement with Israel, and part of Syria is still occupied by Israel, the Golan Heights. Maybe that's why. Likewise with Lebanon, a part of Lebanon is still occupied by Israel. So we shouldn't imagine that this is an Arab-Israeli conflict, and being an Arab does not make you on the side of the Palestinians because they are Arabs. And gone are the days of pan-Arab nationalism anyway, apart from in a couple of places such as Syria. So Donald Trump, who I know has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, he will join a list that also contains Henry Kissinger, Yitzhak Rabin, and many other people that have done nothing for peace, including even Barack Obama. But one good thing Donald Trump did do was pull out of Syria. But I wonder why certain people wanted Syria occupied. Don't be fooled into thinking that this is a conflict between Arabs and Israelis. And Donald Trump said he was trying to reconcile Arabs and Israelis. But 20% of Israelis are Arabs anyway. That's another conversation. The situation in the Middle East is a conflict between the aggressive Zionists and those who resist that agenda. And they could be Arab, they could be non-Arab, they could be Muslim, they could be Christian, they could be Jewish. Don't fall for the oversimplification, and don't fall for believing that a peace agreement between the United Arab Emirates and Israel means anything at all.